What's up, everyone? I recently just finished Spiderman for the PS4 made by Insomniac, and I have to say, what an amazing game. There's so much that I want to say about this game, but I want to start by saying, this is probably the best Spider-Man game ever created. It's so good in so many different ways that it's nearly impossible for me to mention everything. But without further ado, let's get started. Now, before I played this game, I heard a lot of hype talking about how great the game is, that it's the best superhero game ever, it's the best Spider-Man, it's one of the best exclusives, one of the best games of this generation. All the usual hype when a game is amazing. Well, from the first minute I played this game, I knew this game was going to be amazing. That this game was going to be great. Because it starts off, basically the camera is going through Peter Parker's room. And you just see a bunch of gadget technology that he's been tinkering with. Then you see the inside of his mask with some technology implanted into the eye part of the mask. Then, of course, you see some newspaper articles with the pictures of a criminal he's already defeated, put into the jail, which would be the Raft, such as Vulture, Scorpion, Rhino, Electro, and such. And then you get to Peter Parker in bed, and he wakes up and a crime is being played on the police radio he has in his room. And he gets up, he throws on a spider suit, and as we know, Peter Parker in all the forms of fiction that he's been represented in, such as comics, movies, TV shows, he's always been, or Spider-Man himself is always represented as a normal, down-to-earth guy who just happens to get superpowers and tries to help as many people as he can, even though that can be bad for him at times. He'll always put people ahead of himself. And that's exactly what this game does, because as he's about to leave the window, he spots a bill on the floor. He is in danger of being evicted from his apartment. And he sees the bill on the floor, so he pauses and decides which one's more important. And of course, being that he's Spider-Man, or more importantly, being that he's Peter Parker, he leaps out his apartment window and begins to go to the crime scene. Now, what's the first thing? What's the main thing that people want to buy a Spider-Man game for? What is it? In most Spider-Man games that I probably played, the first thing you do is usually learn how to move, how to walk, the combat, and all that stuff. The first thing you do in this game, you jump out the window. After a brief cutscene, the game slows down, it pauses, and it tells you to press R2. And as you do it, you immediately web swing. The first thing you do, the first interaction you do in this game is web swing. And that was perfect. Because the thing that differentiates a Spider-Man game from other superhero games, from all other games, like the thing you buy a Spider-Man game for, compared to all these other action games out there, is the web swinging aspect. Yes, everything else in the game can be amazing, but it's the web swinging is the thing that draws us to a Spider-Man game. It's what we want to see, how well they do it, how fun they can make it. And the web swinging in this game is phenomenal. It is so good. It's so fluid, it's smooth, the animations are phenomenal. And it's not and what makes the web swing great isn't just the act of the web swing, but the other things that are involved with it, such as first off, the web swing itself, the momentum is great. Basically, you'll swing, and depending how high you go, and at the right moment you go to the full extent of the height of the swing, you press X, you get a little extra boost leap into the air to add extra height. But if you press X to release from the web swing mid-swing, you'll get a speed boost hurling in the direction you're facing. But then there's other elements that help out with the web swing, such as the point launch mechanic, which is basically there will be different parts of rooftops and buildings where you can press L2 and Spider-Man shoots webs above his arms, above the technology around his wrists, his web shooters, and he will propel himself really quickly to that point. Now, there's an upgrade system in the game, and there's an upgrade you can unlock later on when you hit the point you're aiming at, this from the point launch mechanic. If you time it right and you press X, he'll jump off and get a significant speed boost that propels him in that direction, which adds even more speed to his web swing. But then there's also the mechanic of when you get close to a building, he'll automatically start running across the building, or you can run up the building. And it's just so seamless how you can go from all these different points. You can go into a web swing. jump onto a building, run across it, jump off back into your web swing, do a point launch, prepare yourself over time, and press X at the right time, and immediately go back into another web swing. And of course, you can unlock tricks to do then in that same upgrade tree, such as backflips and front flips. And it just, all of it together just adds up to a really great web swinging system. It makes you feel like Spider-Man. It's so effortless. It feels so natural. And here's the thing, there's fast travel in this game, but honestly, they could have taken fast travel out and it wouldn't be that bad, because honestly the web swing is so fun and you never get bored of it. That's the crazy thing, it never gets bored to do it because it's just so fun, so fluid, so simple, and it's a joy to do. This is one of the most cheesiest lines you'll ever hear, and you always hear this type of line around, but it really does make you feel like Spider-Man. The web swinging is the one thing that differentiates Spider-Man greatly from other heroes. Yeah, his personality is different, his fight style is different, but it's the web swinging that lets us identify Spider-Man as Spider-Man. And it's just, I know I'm talking a lot about this one mechanic, but it's so important to this game and it's so well executed. Like, I don't think people understand. What Insomniac did here is phenomenal. Like, yeah, sure, in Spider-Man game, people expect the web swing to be great, but the fact they made it this good and this perfect, and to integrate all these different systems together to make movement throughout the city is phenomenal. It's just truly phenomenal. And I really enjoyed the web swinging. When I played the game, I nearly spent the first 2 hours web swinging. When I first played the game, I spent 3 hours in total. I spent the first hour just doing the first mission, just get out of the way so I can explore. And then I spent the next 2 hours web swinging, just exploring the city, learning how to web swing efficiently, how fast I can go, how smooth things are. And another thing that's great with the web swinging is the amount of animations associated with web swinging. For example, one time you could do a web swing and he'll hold onto the web with one of his hands and he'll twist around. It's just everything he does. He can jump off a building in some way. He could do a backflip off a building. He could do a front flip. He could do a side flip. There's so many different ways. He could even just jump off a building before you web swing. And there's just, I cannot go through the amount of different animations. There are so many different animations associated with the web swing and the traversal mechanic through the game. It's insane. For example, I was 3/4 of the way through the main story, and I was still seeing new animations. Like there's just one animation, and if they're in an apartment complex, and there's a bunch of steel stairs, like the side balcony of the apartment complex. If you run just straight up them, there's a mechanic where you just see Spider-Man constantly shooting webs at the next metal stairs over the next as he's jumping from one to the other. And that's only for that one object. He never moves like that for anything else around the world. And it's just phenomenal the different ways they just incorporate all these animations. And mind you, all these animations and movements he does, they look like something Spider-Man would do. It fits in with him, it looks natural while he's doing it, and it's just great. It's so well done. I know I've said so many times and I repeat myself a bit, but the web swinging is so good. And a nice little detail I also like with the web swinging is that when you're doing tricks like the front flips and the back flips, they give you like XP. No, it's only like 2 XP for each skill, so it's 9. But it's kind of nice as well because it kind of incentivizes you to do these tricks while web swinging, but also it kind of gives you some while doing it. So like you don't get much, but it's just a nice little detail to put in there and you're not wasting your time completely just doing these tricks, and it's just fun as hell. Whew! That was a lot talking about web swing. I'm actually bare from that, but as I said, it's such an important mechanic to Spider-Man, and they did it in such a good way. It's just, I'm amazed how well they did it. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's so good. And of course, I also love the detail that every time you swing, the web connects to a building around, and that's just a nice little detail. Like, it never bothered me in the older games when the web would attach to something in the air and you could just swing, but it's nice little details like that. And I just like how the momentum affects how fast or how high you swing, and the point launch system, which can just make traversing so much faster. I know I'm just rambling, but the web swinging is truly a joy. It is just a joy to do in this game. And the city itself, the city is so detailed as well. Like, the city is really big, but honestly it needs to be. Because the speed that you can go through the city with the web swing, the speed you just go through it has to be big. Because you move at such great speed, and you can just, it's phenomenal. It's just flawless. And honestly, while the fast travel is nice to have, they didn't need it. But I will say, I like with the fast travel. It's just a small detail. Is that there's always these funny, like, 10-15 second scenes as the act as a loading screen for the fast travel, such as Spider-Man who's sitting on the seat in the subway and in a Spidey costume, and he's talking to someone else who's dressed in a Spidey costume, and they're just having a normal chat, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know if the guy in the civilian in the Spider costume knows that's the real Spider-Man, or he just assumes it's another guy dressed in a costume. But it's just funny scenes like that. Or there's this mercenary group in the game called Sable, and they're in this train carriage, and they have the whole thing on lockdown as the train's moving through the tunnel. But you just see Spider-Man outside just lying down on the step on the back of the train, just on his phone. And it's little things like that that just, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man is a guy who's kind of carefree. He likes to help people, but he doesn't take himself or things too serious at times. And it's really well done on the presentation of Spider-Man. And it really set the game off to a great start. That web swing just impressed the hell out of me, and the city itself is so good. And then, Joe, this is going to be longer than most of my reviews because I have so much I want to say. So for now, this is the first part of the review, and I'll try to get the next done as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I repeat myself a lot, but believe me, when you play, if you need to play the game, and when you see how good the web swing is, you'll understand why I'm so excited and just rambling and ranting over how great it is. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.